Hi guys, it is Tamara. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about wired to experience trauma. Basically, let me explain what that means. Basically, what that means is that there has been some particular trauma somewhere in your family, so intergenerational trauma, or you have experienced trauma yourself. And what happens to the brain is that it actually rewires itself. There's a ton of neurological and neuroscientific pieces of the brain that rewires itself. And so you become wired in a way to experience trauma. And I'm going to explain that a little bit more as we go along in today's video. So let's just not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and jump in. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. For all of you who are subscribed and participating, thank you once again. And for those who are new, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button so you can stick around with us and be a part of our community. It is growing all of the time, and I'm so grateful for all of the people that are on the channel. And I'm really happy that most of you are benefiting, and that's the goal. In case you don't know who I am, let me go ahead and briefly introduce myself. My name is Tamara, and I'm an internationally and board certified trauma therapist, but I'm also licensed in mental health, and I provide within my practice trauma-based and mental health services for children, teens, and some adults. Let's go ahead and jump in. So this topic has been something that I've talked about in a variety of ways on my channel since its start. Back in 2017, I started the channel with the intent of, being a place of community and a place where you can bring your questions and your experiences and get them answered. It's almost like having a therapist on YouTube, but somebody who's specialized, not just the general therapist that talks about everything, but a therapist who specializes in particular cases of trauma. And so that's been the goal of this channel. So you will find some videos on this channel that has a foundation of trauma in almost all of them. But on this particular topic, which is the neuroscience and the neurology and neurobiology of trauma, you will find some videos on this channel, and I'll go ahead and here's a couple of them. I will post the thumbnails so that you can see them, and I'll also try to post some things in the description box for you. So, what happens to the brain when you're experiencing a traumatic event or when you have in the past? So I'm going to grab my notes here, guys, to kind of keep me on track, as I always do. And I think that this might be something that you might benefit from, taking notes on, and maybe even taking to your own therapist and discussing this with your therapist. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on this. All right. So the first thing that I want you to keep in mind about being wired to experience trauma is that fear is a wired response to trauma. Okay. Fear is a wired response to trauma. Here's what I mean by that. Fear actually becomes ingrained in how you respond to life situations. Sometimes, depending on the intensity of the trauma, and especially if you have been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, fear is a wired response. It has become ingrained in your responses. And no matter how much therapy you have, no matter how much healing you do, you may find that the fear response is so ingrained and so wired within you that anything can trigger your fear response. All right? Anything can trigger your fear response. And as I have here in my notes, I have in parentheses the amygdala. So you want to keep in mind that, my amygdala is being triggered. I'm sensing some fear and I don't know why I'm being triggered right now. There's no real danger. So what's going on? Well, I need to remember that Tamara told me that my amygdala responds to things. It has no ability to reason, no logic, no rationality. So my amygdala is very primitive, in the sense that it responds to emotion. It does not rationalize. So fear is a wired response. I want you to keep that in mind. Fear is a wired response, and that wired response is triggered by the amygdala. Okay? The next thing, guys, is your fight or flight system, which I have here, turns on and turns off unnecessarily, right? I always talk about this, that the central nervous system, or the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, is often in central nervous system dominance. And what that means is that the brain and the spinal cord, right, as well as the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, are being impacted by the trauma, being impacted by a trigger in the environment. Remember the amygdala, it stores those emotional memories. So whenever you walk past somebody that has a perfume that reminds you of your mother, the sympathetic nervous system is going to be triggered, okay? And what's going to happen in that gas pedal mode, I call it the gas pedal because it's like everything speeds up. In that particular mode, your body is responding, your brain is responding to something that it really doesn't need to respond to. So, it really gets complicated, guys, but this is the easiest explanation that I can give you, which is central nervous system dominance. Whenever your fight or flight system is kicked off by something, whether it's a legitimate trigger or not, your body is going into overdrive unnecessarily, okay? The next thing, guys, is the integration of memory is difficult. The integration of memory is difficult. What I mean by that is because of the hippocampus, because it shrinks in size, and because you have a hard time storing short-term and long-term memories, because of trauma's impact on the hippocampus, it's really easy for you to forget things. I've had individuals come in for trauma therapy and they say things like, I can't remember my childhood. Neither can I remember what the heck was happening after the trauma. My brother molested me, or my sister beat me up so bad that I can't remember what happened before and after that. I have a big chunk of my life that's missing. Part of that is because of the hippocampus. It shrinks in volume, and it has a really difficult time, processing those short-term and those long-term memories, especially those long-term memories. And I talk a little bit in this video right up here about memory and the traumatic impact of particular situations on recalling things and on memory. So go ahead and check that video out, okay? But the brain has a hard time with integrating those memories with your current experience, all right? The next thing, guys, is the past intrudes upon the future. The past intrudes upon the future. What I mean by that is that you begin to have flashbacks. You begin to have, memories pop up every now and then. They pop in and then they go away. A flashback is a temporary re-experiencing of something and then it goes away. It's like something's in your face harassing you and then it goes away. And that's really what a flashback is. It comes and it goes away. It intrudes upon your experience and your existence and then it goes away. It doesn't stay long. It just pops in and it pops out. And that's really difficult to manage because flashbacks can happen whenever the amygdala or the emotional centers of the brain is triggered, whatever that trigger may be, So it's really hard to control those flashbacks. So, flashbacks tends to be one of the number one reasons why my clients come to see me. They're having a hard time processing what is going on and what is happening to them. The next thing I want you guys to think about is thinking, planning, and solving is very disrupted. Again, the prefrontal cortex has been impacted. So decision making is really difficult. Higher order or executive functioning or thinking is really difficult, and so is your impulse control. So you may find it really hard to control your impulses and really stay connected to your reality, because at that point, you're struggling to make decisions, you're struggling to weigh the pros and cons of things, you're really struggling to weigh the black, the white, and the gray. You don't know what to really do. So you're almost in a state of confusion, and with the impulsivity, you may get really fed up and say, forget it, I'm going to choose that option, and that may be the wrong option, So, so thinking and processing and decision making is largely disrupted. The next thing that I want you guys to think about is something known as tonic immobility. Tonic immobility. I know you probably haven't heard of that before. Tonic immobility. You're probably going to hear about this on channels where, therapists talk about trauma. Here's what it is. And I have here in my notes, it's a reflex, okay? It's a reflex that's caused by trauma. And really the way that I want you to think of tonic immobility is I want you to think of it as a freezing response. It's like a deer caught in headlights, It's like, okay, I don't know what to do in this moment that I'm being triggered by my trauma. I'm being triggered by something. And so now I'm like a deer caught in headlights. I don't know what to do. Tonic immobility. It's a freeze response. It's a freeze response to something that is triggering you. All right. The next one is collapsed immobility. Collapsed immobility. And the whole idea behind this is that you almost lose your ability to stand and be strong. It's like you lose your bodily tone, if you will. Your muscles become kind of limp. It's almost like you lose your functionality for the moment. Collapsed immobility. And that's another trauma term. I'll go ahead and put the description over here of both of those. Tonic immobility, collapsed immobility, so that you can kind of have a visual of what that is. These are things that you are likely to deal with when you have experienced trauma, psychological, emotional, physical, and even traumatic brain injuries. Whatever the trauma may be, you're likely to experience all of these things. This is why it is important to understand how you become wired to experience trauma. You're not just having an emotional and psychological experience, you're having a neurobiological experience as well. Thank you so much for being with me today, guys, in this video. If it was helpful, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. Share your experience. Ask me your questions. I love reading them. I love answering your questions. I think it helps me kind of stay really sharp, and what I'm offering you, and even what I'm offering my clients within the office and those who consult with me. And I think it also provides a community of safety for all of you when we can have a discussion. So thank you for that. Go ahead and post your comments and your questions in the comment box for me. And hit that subscribe button if you want to stick around, and that thumbs up button, which pushes us up in YouTube, and it allows us to continue to grow, and it makes this video available to other people. All right, guys, I'm so sorry for the long video, but wanted to make sure that you had really, really good information. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.